What's up, guys? We are at Morielta Falls in Adelaide. I've linked up with this guy here, Chuck Duzz. He's a client of Danny Lloyd's Inside Out coaching business, and he's got a hell of a story. He suffers a brain injury from a fatal hit 11 years ago.
A safety message to local students in the hope they won't make the same mistake he did. He spent weeks in a coma and faces a long recovery after a drunken play fight went horribly wrong.
Brother, let's hear your story.
Well, yeah, I was 20 years old. I was out night clubbing with my best mates. 4 a.m, underground nightclub, Electric Circus in Adelaide. Me and one of my best mates, well, we were all at 4 a.m, night clubbing, underground nightclub, EC in Adelaide. We were drunk, obviously 4 a.m, drunk off our heads, 20 years old, taking ecstasy, just getting fucked up. Me and one of my best mates, who was a bartender with me at the Line Hotel, we started play fighting. Unfortunately, my great mate, Goodsy, caught me as hard as he could, right in my temple. And I had to learn the hard way, that the human body has protection. You have muscles, you have bones around your whole body to protect your vital organs so you can stay alive. But for some horrible reason, in your temple, there's no skull there. And I had to learn the very, very difficult way that behind your temple is the human brain. I also had to learn that the moment Tyson's fist hit my temple, that the human brain controls 100% of the human body.
You're right, brother.
Because the second Goodsy's fist connected with my temple, trillions and trillions and trillions of active cells in my body all shut down that very second. I was dead in the air, and my body fell backwards and landed dead on the floor. That nightclub got shut down, and one ambulance came, checked me for all signs of life. That ambulance had to call instantly 5 more ambulances. I had a total of 12 medics, 6 ambulances outside the nightclub. It was an underground nightclub, and they couldn't carry me up the stairs, otherwise they would have broken my spine on the way up, the most important bone in the whole body. So they had to call a fire engine. We just had to smash a window and put a long ladder down into the club, where the fire brigade workers tied my body and carried me up the ladder on a cherry picker, and then threw me into the back of the closest ambulance, where I started rushing as fast as I'm sure you can imagine into the hospital. The ambulance from Hindley Street to the Royal Adelaide Hospital was only a 2-minute drive. 2 minutes. But my situation was so severe. My brain was actually trying to swell out the top of my skull because it was so badly hurt. The damage was so severe. So the medics in the back of my ambulance actually had to chainsaw over the top of my head and remove the whole front half of my skull. Because my brain needed room to swell out the top of my head. Where it then spent the next year of my life as I was dead in intensive care. So anyway, I get to intensive care without a skull, and then surgery started. It was the longest, most difficult and most expensive surgery procedure in worldwide medical history. I was in 24 surgery for a week. A whole week. After surgery, I then went into a written dead coma state, working 100% from, I had 2 tubes on my body telling my lungs to breathe, 2 machines on my body telling my lungs to breathe, machine on my heart telling my heart to beat, tubes in my bladder weeing and pooing for me, and 2 tubes in my throat feeding and hydrating me. I couldn't open my eyes, I couldn't move a muscle. It's what dead is.
Yeah.
So I had to lay there, completely dead, for 3 weeks. That was when I was at a written dead coma state. After they finished surgery, the doctor sat my poor mum down. My lovely mother, who loved her oldest son so much. Charlie is now in a coma state. Unfortunately, he is also written dead. He will never wake up from this coma. And if he does, he will then be an unrepairable vegetable for the rest of his short life.
Wow.
We are so sorry. There's just nothing else we can do. And that was the truth.
Yeah.
That was the truth, man.
Yeah.
I was actually dead.
You're right, brother. Just take a second, breathe. Breathe through it, bro. You're right.
Thank you. Anyway, yeah, sorry. So I was fucking dead in heaven. And then once God had finished rewiring to give me the music passion I now have, he then had to make me earn my new life to sort of give me the emotional abilities I now put into my music.
Yep.
Given how difficult it was for me to come all the way back.
Yeah.
Because after heaven, God the dickhead then sent me all the way down to hell.
Yep. And just a quick insight, guys. Chase is actually a respected DJ. Makes all his own music, and yeah, all his links and stuff will be in this post. But yeah, go check him out for sure.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so yeah. Anyway,
in my music, you look up, you'll find a few raps and movie clips based on my injury.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some pretty amazing stuff you'll hear if you look me up.
Definitely, mate. So so we'll just fast forward a little bit.
Absolutely.
Chuck, the rehabilitation. Talk us through that.
Oh my God, dude!
Like just on a quick
just
insight.
Another extent of Chuck Duzz is this. There's so much in excess of like rehabilitation. I opened my eyes in intensive care, barely able to move my body, and there was no mental knowledge of who I was, what species I was, and what planet I was on. Okay.
In other words, you had a mind of a baby.
Exactly. I was a 21-year-old with the mind of a 1-year-old.
Yep.
I could only think as smart as a 1-year-old could.
Yeah. You didn't know how to
I could
socialise.
only retain information.
You couldn't talk.
Remember. I couldn't communicate. I couldn't talk. I couldn't understand. I didn't know how to have a conversation because I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense because my brain didn't have the intellect anymore required to understand normality, simple things.
Yeah.
Which, if you had experienced my state, you will realise is actually pretty impressively complex for us humans to all just naturally get. But
100%.
Yeah. But it's just so natural for us. We don't realise it until you're fucking waking up at 21 without a brain and have to learn it all again. You're like, wow,
yeah,
this is hard.
100%, bro. So, you know, fast forward again a little bit, mate. You know, you've started to, you know, learn again. Started to be able to socialise and learn your life, get your life back in line. You know, how was your family's, you know, approach on this? Was they, you know,
unbelievable? I am overly graciously thankful of how helpful my family was.
Yep.
Curing me all the way to here.
Yep.
Cost my family a huge amount of money.
Yep. Look, mate, I've only just met you today, okay? You know, Danny, behind the camera, has really urged me to have this conversation with you and help get your story out there, you know, and this is just touching the surface of this guy. He's
seriously
of his story, you know. There is so much more to it. It is
what he's saying, please note that.
Yeah.
That's legitimate.
Yeah, and honestly, guys, if you're interested in more, start following this guy. I'm going to have him on the podcast very shortly to go in depth about his story. But fuck, look at him. You would not even think he's got a fucking brain injury. Seriously, for somebody.
If you could feel my skull, you would be like, wow. Give me your index. Give me it. Do you have a long one on there? This one on there. Feel
Oh wow, bro.
Can you feel? I was gonna find it. Feel that dent across there?
Definitely, bro.
That's where they chainsawed over the top of my head in the ambulance.
Wow, just put your head down.
You
can see it, bro.
Rub your thing through it and you can feel the dent. It goes all the way over the top of my head.
Yeah, look at it.
So that's where the chainsaw went in my head on the ambulance.
Unreal, you can all the way across, bro.
You can see a little unicorn coming out there.
Yep.
They fucking sliced my whole skull off.
Chuck, thank you for brother for
thank you so much for having me,
bro.
Lovely to meet you, man.
You too, brother, and I'm looking forward to
keep watching this guy because he's clearly an incredible man, a joy to watch. And now I've just done this. I've never seen him before. I'm going to go home and watch all his stuff, and I'm sure it's going to be as amazing as you guys are watching right now.
Good on you, brother.
So right on.
Well done. Chuck Duzz, everybody. Go follow him.
D-U-Z-Z. Get the spelling right.